All right, so the next thing that we need to do is deal with this stuff, right? These drop downs, and try to figure out what's going on here. So first thing I'm going to do is, while this is selected, I want you to notice right off the bat that if I were to go here and click this and hit inspect, one of the things that it does is it pulls up, you know, some piece of the regular page. It's not pulling up something in the menu. So it's because it's a hover element, and by the time I've actually gone to inspect it, it disappears. So just go ahead and select like the main link right here. So if you click in the top right corner, or even up here, right, you can say inspect on one that doesn't hover. And then what you're looking for is you can go down here in the HTML. Let me pull this up a little bit so you can see it better. And you're going to see li class equals, you know, page item, blah, blah, blah. But then you're looking for one that says page item has children. So if you select that and then you drill down right here, you're going to be able to see that it has an anchor tag underneath it. And inside of that list item is going to be a list item, or excuse me, an unordered list that's embedded. All right, but you can't see it unless you hover over it, right? So one of the things that's really cool about the inspector that you can do is, so that you can see what's happening, is you can click on, for instance, go to this list item for the one that has the page item has children class, and go down here under, well, actually go under list item, page item has children, and then over in the right hand side where you see styles, there's a little colon hover. If you toggle that element state, so select that, and then do the checkbox here where it says hover, and it'll show you the state without you actually having to be hovered over it. So I'm going to turn the hover on for that. And then if you click on its child, right, it's got the anchor tag. You could choose to show the hover for that. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to. But then the other one that you want to pay attention to is this UL class equals children. You could turn on the hover for that as well. I'm going to leave it off for right now, but I just want to show you how you can get to that. Okay, so now that I can see that this is turned on, it allows me to actually go ahead and start styling some stuff and see what's happening. So before I do anything, I want to come down here where this UL class equals children. I want to select that, and you can see that it's highlighting on the page. It's highlighting it in such a way while I have it hovered that right in this area, okay, it shows green. All right, and the green, if you remember, if I scroll down here, let's open this up a little bit so you can see it better. Let me pull this up. If I scroll down to the very bottom, green means padding. All right, so you see here it shows the padding, and if I hover right here, it shows me the padding that's on that UL, okay, that has the children class. All right, what's happening right there is that it's inheriting that padding. If you remember, we added padding on this up here, which was the UL inside the main navigation. And so when I did that, it added it all the way down into the tree. See where it says main navigation UL? Well, it's inheriting that from its parent. So what we need to do is we need to target something that's more specific. So for instance, UL inside of a list item hover that's inside of main navigation. What we need to do is come here and add something that says padding. Let's do padding left, and then let's do 0. And you see that it gets rid of that extra padding. That's the first thing that we can do to see what we're up against. And if you wanted to kind of do like what I was showing you last time, instead of just making these arbitrary changes here, which are going to be kind of hard to go back and weed out, one of the things that you can also do is you can copy the style as you're making it. So let's get rid of that for a second. All right, so I'm going to copy this selector. I'll copy that. And then if I go over here, I can click the plus symbol so that it's going to start to create something in my inspector style sheet right here. I'm going to click on that inspector style sheet, and it'll take me here. And let's go ahead and let's just put this selector here, main navigation, whose descendant is UL, whose descendant is a list item hover. And what this is doing is it's saying any of the ULs that are descendants of this are going to come back in here. So let's apply the padding left of 0 so we can get that started. All right, so that's the first thing. The other thing is it'd be nice if we could see what we're dealing with. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a background color. And if I wanted, I'm just going to pick for right now, just for the moment, make it black. That's not what I'm going to do. But then I can take my color picker and I can select that color. And at least I've got a color where it's easy to see it now. And then if I wanted, what I could also do is click that color, and then I could also just say, all right, I want to make it a darker version of that, and I could come down here and pick a color, you know, whatever. Or if I already knew what I was doing with it from XD, then I could come here and I could paste it. And in this case, I do know what I want, and I want it to be that color. So it's sort of like a very, very similar but darker version of it. All right, and the other thing too that now I want to do is I want to make this text white. I can worry about that in just a moment. One of the other things you're going to notice now is that this is sticking up inside of the, you know, it's sort of covering up part of the original link, and I don't like that, so we need to fix that. Okay, so now if I wanted to, let me just show you something. If I wanted to change this, I wouldn't do margins or anything like that, and one of the reasons is because the way that this is set up is that the original list item has a position of relative and the UL itself is absolute so that it positions itself properly. So we want to use something like top. Now I'm going to show you something. Here's the problem with adding it to this particular one, okay? It's basically going to cascade down to any instance of an unordered list inside, not just this first set of links. So for instance, if I did, like if we were to say, let's do like 4.5 rem or something like that, that'll actually show up properly here. But then if I were to look over here where I've got like a third or a tertiary level of navigation, this one right here, the global one being the primary level, and then this next drop down is a secondary level, and then level 2, ooh, look what happens. I'm hovering over level 2, but see, I can't get to my third level links because it's dropping it down too far. It's dropping it down the height of this. So this is not the place to put that. I'm going to cut that out. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to jump back over here to elements, and we're going to figure out which one is the correct one for that. So let me just go ahead and collapse that for a moment so that we can see what we're doing. And you can look at all the other descendants that this might be utilizing, and we can come over here and see that this is the navigation of an unordered list inside of an unordered list. Well, that's probably the one that we want because it's not saying all descendants inside of there. Okay, so let's take a look and see what happens if we adjust this and we say top is 4.5 rem, and let's make sure that it still looks okay whenever we go here, and you see here now I can actually get to my other third level link. So this is the place where you'd want that to happen. All right, so this is what I'm going to do so that we don't get confused. All right, I'm going to copy this selector, and then I'm going to go back over here to my sources, and I'm going to go to my inspector style sheet that I've already created, and I'm going to paste this selector, and I'll say top is 4.5 rem. Okay, and then that way I know later where it is. Okay, so the next thing I said that I wanted to do, you know, I've got this still open because I've got that hover state selected in the inspector. I also need to, I'd like to change the color of this link so that it's automatically just white and not that sort of yellow color. I want it to be consistent with the white that's selected up here. So to do that, let's go back over here and figure out which one of those we would affect. Okay, and so if I look over here inside of my unordered list that has the children class, I should probably look inside of that. All right, there's a list item. And remember, to change the actual color of a link, you need to change the property of the A tag. And so if I click on this A tag that's inside of here, you'll see that I've got an option where I've got main navigation, where I've got an anchor tag that's inside of an unordered list that's inside of an unordered list. Well, okay, that would make sense right there. So let's see what happens if we tell it color is white, and it does change. And then I can check to see, and it did also affect these as well. So this is the right place for it. So I'm going to copy this selector just so I can keep it straight about what I'm changing. I'm copying, oops, let's do that again. Copy this selector. I'll go back to my sources, into my inspector style sheet. I'm going to make a new one, and I'll say color is white. Okay, and I think that those are some good changes to go ahead and start to make adjustments with. I'm going to copy this so that it's in my clipboard. I think that's a good idea. And then I can find the places in my style sheet, right? I can go ahead and find these places in my style sheet and start making those changes. So, and like I said before, in case you're afraid that you might actually refresh this menu or something, you might want to copy everything that you've got here and then paste it into a text document. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but you probably should. So I'm going to find the instance of this ULLI hover. So let's find that in here. And this is where our main navigation stuff starts. We'll scroll down until we find the rule. It's right here. ULLI hover. That's actually not it. I'm sorry. It is right here, in fact. Okay, so it's right here. And I can also close this up a little bit so that we can see what we've got off to the side. All right, and I'm going to add these two things. I'm going to add the padding left, and I'm going to add this background color. So let's come here and we'll add that. All right, and then yeah, and that's what I've got there. Okay, and then the next thing that I want to do, let's move this over, is I want to find the instance of the UL inside the UL. We'll take this top rule and we're going to find that. That one is, I think it's up higher, possibly. Yep, it's, for me, it's on line 547. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add that below. Okay, and then where I've got main navigation UL, ULA, I'm going to take the color, okay, and we're going to find that, and it is this one around line 562 for me. All right, and I'm going to save this, and we'll do an upload. Let's put it up there, and when that happens, I can come back over here, and I should be able to refresh it, and hopefully everything will be the same. Let's do a refresh, and then now, whenever I hover these things, everything works as I'm expecting it to work. Pretty cool, okay? Now, something else that we still need to go back and do is we want to know which page is currently selected. And so that is something that we can also do in here. If you were to go and look at your style sheet, let's jump back over here and take a look. You're going to see that we've got something. Oh, and by the way, if you hover over something that is in Dreamweaver that's got like an orange line number, it'll tell you, hey, there's a warning. It's a duplicate property that's found. And so I can get rid of that. The original setting was 1.5M and that wasn't good. So anyway, I changed that because now I've got this, and if I save it, it'll update it. See, it goes away. All right, so anyway, I want to find something down below. If you scroll down, you're going to see this stuff that's got like current page item. Here, let's open this up. So you've got main navigation, current page item, A. All right, and then you've got all of these. These are grouped selectors. If you see a comma, it means that a whole bunch of different things are going to get the same treatment. So what I want to do here is I want to find you know, where this is in the style sheet. It's around line 591 here, because we don't have a style set, so it, you know, it's not going to work. If I click on home, all right, we can click on home, and now if I right click on this and inspect, one of the things that you can also see is that if you know for a fact that you've clicked on that, you can then come down here and you can look and see like what it is doing for the main navigation current page title or item, sorry, with this A tag, right? So let's see what happens if we give it a background color that is different. Let's do like that, and we'll make it like a slightly darker color, or at least I'm going to, and you see that it sort of highlights it as a darker color. And I think I might like that. The other thing I might do too is give it a color for the text, since it's an anchor tag. Let's do FFF so that we know that that one's different. Okay, so I think I kind of like that, and I think I'd want to go ahead and make those changes. So again, I pulled this from my XD sample colors. So let's go over here, and I'm just going to go ahead and change that right now. Background, and I'll put that there, and then we'll do color for the text is going to be FFF for white, and I'm going to go ahead and save that change. So we can save this. Oh, actually, you know what? I just noticed I misspelled something. It says background. I need to say background. There we go. All right, and let's go ahead and save that again. I just did it with the key command of Command S, or Windows is Control S. I'm going to go over here to put it up on the server and overwrite what's there. Now if I come over here, I should be able to do a reset on this, a refresh, and then you see that it does make the selected page a little bit darker. And if you want to make it even, you know, stand out a little bit more, you can, you know, make it completely highlighted. And so let's see if we were to make it even darker yet, you know, somewhere in that ballpark might even be better. So we could copy this and come back and see if that's a better color for us. Let's save that and let's put it back up there. And we'll do a quick refresh again. And that might stand out a little bit better. So it's really kind of up to you how much you want it to stand out. And so I've got this basic navigation set up, and we still need to do some stuff, all right? We still need to take care of things like that have media queries. And I want to show you something else if I do a refresh on this page. And I pull this back out. You'll notice that there's a place at one point where this starts to stack, and you really need to kind of decide, like, you know, I'm not going to have really and truly, I'm not going to have this many links. And so if you know for a fact that this is way more links than you need, you might want to go ahead and customize your primary menu here so that you can actually see how many links you're really going to have, so that you'll know where your breakpoints need to be. Because, you know, if I don't have that many links, my breakpoint normally would be probably like right about there, which is, let's see what size that is. Let's do an inspection. Um, if you look in the top right corner, you can see that that breakpoint would be somewhere in the ballpark of like 750 pixels, roughly 754. But I don't think that my breakpoint actually needs to be that low. I think it could be lower if I had fewer links here. So, you know, that's something to consider. And I can show you really quickly. If we jump over here, we can actually make a primary menu. So, and to do that, we've got all these different menu options. Let's do a short menu, for instance. Let's see what we've got in the short menu. 1, 2, 3, 4 links. So if you want to think about it, you could also actually put the actual names that are there. You could make actual link names. Then that's a good idea. So let's take a look at that. For our page, let's look over here at our XD. I'm going to zoom in. You see our page. If you remember, what we decided is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 links, and they are called, you know, home, services, about us, FAQs, discount, contacts. I might not even want home to show up, to be honest. I might just want to make this up here a clickable link that goes back home. So let's just leave this home off for a second, and let's just say services, about us, FAQs, discounts, and contacts. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. All right, I'm going to just kind of put this off to the side, and let's just, if you want, you could rename these. And right now I'm just kind of messing around. You know, this isn't the real website. This is just kind of something I'm screwing around with here. So we could come here and we could say, all right, this is going to be called services. And this is just what I'm calling it, right? So that was the home, it is the home page technically on this dummy site, but I'm going to give it a navigational label of services, right? And so I can close that up, and then the next one was about us. So let's just, you know, it's not really going to map properly, but we're just going to do it like this just to keep it simple for the purposes of what we're doing right now. We'll go to FAQs. We'll rename this FAQS. Okay. And then we've got discounts. And I don't want to do the sub menus here. Let's go to discounts. And it looks like we're going to need to add one more. So I could just, oops, I want to stay here. We're going to just grab something else. Let's just grab a sample page, add that to the menu. And then the last one is going to be called contact. So let's rename that one to contact. And we'll go down to the bottom here, save that menu. Oh, the other thing we forgot to do, click here where it says primary menu, save that menu, and then whenever we go to reload this page, that should be the menu that we see here. So I'm going to hit refresh, and then this is the menu that we've got now. And so now you'll see that our breakpoint is going to be a dramatically different place, and we don't have to worry as much, right? And if you wanted it to keep this same media query where it already is kicking in to give us that menu button, that primary menu button, we can change this around a little bit too. You can, but now you at least see that you're not going to have that same problem, where you've got, you've got a double-decker thing happening, okay, before your media query kicks in. All right, so that's going to be the end of this demo, and the next one we're going to start dealing with some of the responsive menu stuff.